Hey, welcome back. So yeah, today I guess I am gonna maybe just go through some Federalist paper stuff. I have so many notes. Um, I think it's really interesting. It's fun to read. It's one of those things where it's like you feel smart reading it, and understanding it. It's like, whoa, I understand this. So you feel smart, even though it's like nothing. It's just whatever. And I'm not understanding like 20% of it anyway. I'm understanding 20% of it. But I have to read this first because this next part is pretty. It's a lot of action. Okay, Federalist number 6 was about domestic dissension because the first Federalist papers were about international like relations, and this one's like about domestic relations. So it might be hard to do this. Let's get on a roll with the thing. Well, he mentioned confederacies of unequal strength. Eventually, they will exert their power on the weaker confederacies. That's obvious, I think. He's saying he gets into this a lot more detail and like a lot of different reasons, but the main point is just like if you have a bunch of confederacies, obviously some of them are going to be more powerful than others, and then they'll like subjugate the weaker ones, and there'll be a lot of wars. Just one interesting thing you mentioned was like, oh god, the United States is in a unique situation because they're very new. They're a new country, so there's a lot of like open, unsettled land, even within the states. So people are just going to be like fighting over that unsettled land. There's not that much unsettled land in like Spain that like France is going to be like, hey, we should try to get this stuff. Did they kill the bloater? Oh, that was nice. I gotta heal. Men are vindictive. This is what Hamilton says. Men are vindictive and rapacious. Look at history. It's gonna happen eventually. Desire power. Oh, the Peloponnesian War. That was interesting. He brought up. Hamilton knows a lot about history. I guess he studied a lot about history. It's interesting to think about people back then knowing about history because you can't just Google it. You have to like actually get a book and then remember it. If you forget it, then I mean, I guess rich people had books. They had libraries and stuff. But he was talking about the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta in Greece. That was Athens and Sparta were kind of like confederacies, right? They had their own thing going on, but they were part of this really great. I think Greece kind of had like an empire back in the day before Rome, before Rome, because Rome stole all the stuff from Greece, right? Like the gods and stuff. So Greece was like the superpower of like 1000 BC maybe, or like 500 BC or something. But then something happened and they had this war, the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta. And ultimately, it weakened them pretty heavily. I mean, I don't know the history about it, but it makes sense. I mean, you have this civil war, and the thing that was interesting was that the argument against Hamilton was that he was saying the argument against me is that we'll be like we'll be very commercial in our confederacies, and so we'll be like, we want to be allies because we're like trading with each other, right? We're not going to want to go to war. But he was saying Athens was a really commercial place, and they still went to war because men are rapacious. We need a system in place that's going to override dudes' feelings, which I think is a good thing. He's saying like everybody, all these civilizations before that they've had so much hubris about like, oh no, we're gonna be different. We're not gonna be vindictive, and we're not gonna start needless wars. And then somebody's feelings get hurt, and then they start a war. It just happens. So it's like creating a strong federal government's gonna help us stick together, even though we might not want to. And it's kind of just obvious, like we're stronger together, right?
Manny.
Especially back then when there was not that many people in America. If we're gonna split us up like 4 different ways, then...
Ladies first.
Another month and I wouldn't fit through here.
Go ahead, Axe.
He said ladies first.
We got him. We got him.
Okay.
Abby, this reminds me of your dad's greenhouse. Shouldn't. All these plants are alive.
Oh, my dad. Remember my dad? Oh,
You know what?
Joel
This is
killed
great.
him.
You two need a bonding here.
Shut up, Manny.
Working already.
What was I talking about? Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about, like, in this country, we do have a history of wanting to preserve the Union. I never really... I don't know. Sometimes when you think about the Civil War, you think, well, maybe it would have been better if we split up. But Lincoln was really adamant. Like, that was the thing he cared about the most, was preserving the Union. He didn't even really care. I mean, he cared a little bit about slavery. But he's like... It was all just about preserving the Union. We gotta stay together, even if... And people were probably telling him this at the time. Like, you want to kill hundreds of thousands of your own citizens just to keep this country together? And these people want to leave. Just let them leave. But it was really important to him because and I think it makes sense. Like, for America to be what it is, it needs to stick together. We're gonna kind of hate each other sometimes, but the thing Hamilton said was, if we start splitting up, other countries are gonna see they're gonna think we're weak.
And another one?
Yep.
Hey,
It's gonna be really hard to get allies because they're thinking like we're always fighting with each other and we're gonna look weak, and then they might just invade us because it's gonna be super easy if we're always fighting each other. Oh, the really interesting thing that I like he said was he compared the United States to England. And he was saying America has this really amazing opportunity to become an England and become really powerful because we're separated from all these big nations and these big powers before, like England and Spain and Portugal or whatever, France. They have colonies over here, but they're just like colonies. They're not as strong as us, especially if we stick together. So he was saying the reason why England became super powerful was because they were separated by this ocean, and why they developed a super strong navy.
Your way out.
Give me a hint? I don't know. Just give me a hint.
Hey guys,
Okay.
this a way out?
Because they didn't have to really defend a border like France would have to defend a border with Spain or whatever. Is this a cutscene?
Cops dead ahead.
no scars in sight.
Well, they're out there. Yeah. Let's keep moving. through this area without getting jumped by scars.
Before World War II and Industrial Revolution, America prospered like Japan because they didn't have to constantly think about their neighbors killing them. That's what I wrote down. I guess that was something I added onto it. That Hamilton really, obviously, he didn't talk about World War II. But the history of Japan, this is how it's taught, and I don't know if it's really true, but they always say, well, after World War II, Japan wasn't allowed to have an army because we all just kind of decided. So because Japan didn't have to constantly worry about people attacking them or building up their military, they developed a really strong economy.
Keep checking those sightlines.
One of the strongest in the world. Because they didn't have to constantly think about fighting people. The reason why America prospered during like the Industrial Revolution and even before that was because they didn't have to really some of the Indians would fight them, and Spain was like in Florida and stuff, but they didn't really have to worry about wars. Especially what Hamilton's saying is like, if we split up, we're definitely gonna fight with ourselves. But
We need to be on the other
if we
side
stay
of this
strong, we
place.
can really build this economy together, and like we're gonna have to share. It's gonna be hard, but we could do it, guys. We have an opportunity here to do something really crazy and different. And I think that's pretty interesting, don't you?
Something's blocking the door. Maybe there's another way.
Locked. Love of wealth is as domineering a passion as power. That was his argument against the people who were like,
Up here.
but America's gonna be super commercial, so we're not gonna ever fight. And he's like, guys, what do people love more than money? We're gonna be fighting over money too, right? Doesn't matter. Like, ooh, this trade route's really good, so we need this port, so it's ours now. Virginia's gonna say to North Carolina that, well, we're gonna take this port from you guys because it's actually ours. So, and then North Carolina's gonna be like, no, this is where all of our money's coming from. All of our exporting or whatever. And then they're gonna fight. And then they're gonna have a...
I'm at a loss here.
Okay. I'm not paying attention, so they keep giving me hints.
Got a cable up here. Come give
Oh.
me a boost.
Manny, see what's up there.
He also he said a phrase, in history there have been as many popular wars as royal wars. I thought that was pretty interesting. He's saying just because we don't have a monarchy doesn't mean we're not going to fight, because people love war too. If they feel slighted in any way, they're going to want to fight. Like, remember when we fought the British? We didn't have a king then, and we still went to war with them because the people wanted it. People want war. They do. So we need to create a system where that's just not beneficial. Like, it's just not going to happen as often, because if we don't sure that up now, it's going to happen later.
No, I'm optimistic.
Because people are going to want it. You don't think you want it now, but you're going to want it later. Whoa.
Long way down.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, it is.
Abby, I don't know if they've said this yet, but she's afraid of heights. So they do this effect, this dolly zoom thing. It's like, whoa, whenever she looks down. That's pretty cool. I don't know if it happens here. Yeah, it does, look. Whoa. I need to get a rope somewhere. Where do I get the rope? Oh. Where did Mel go? I'm not even paying attention. Just fall down. Whoa.
There you go.
Oop.
Okay, Mel. We're in. I'm at the door.
I'm in. Well, I've already talked about Federalist number 6. That's all that stuff.
Okay.
Oh, he talked
come
about
on.
like England
Quick.
and he talked about Great Britain and the UK and stuff. So he was like, well, it was better for England to get together with Ireland and Scotland or whatever instead of fighting them,
You're here.
because then they would have been in the same situation as like Spain and France. They'd have a border and they'd be fighting over it, but they decided we're going to be the Great Britain. We're going to work together, and that's when they developed this superpower. And he was just saying, we could do that too, guys. Come on, let's be friends. Every time I talk about the Federalist Papers, I should probably just do like a catch up on what it is, in case this is the first time you're hearing about it. I don't know. I'm already too late into the episode to do that. It's the end of the episode. Alexander Hamilton was guy. Oh, when I first talked about the Federalist Papers, I said the wrong year, and I was listening back to it, and I was like, "No, you're so stupid. You said the wrong year." I said 1778 instead of 1787. So dumb. You stupid idiot. Dyslexic idiot. He wrote the Federalist Papers in 1787, not 1778, when the Revolutionary War was happening. Stupid. I'm being facetious, but I really did feel that way. Hey, what are you doing here? Ooh. Still hot in here. Oh, God. Oh.
You know, my dad took me fishing in the boat. I got seasick.
What should I do?
Benny, don't ever get pregnant.
Doing my best.
So tomorrow, I guess we'll just do a little recap on 7 and 8, and then we'll talk about something else. If I was a really smart person, I would start disagreeing with some stuff Hamilton said, right? I'd be like, no, I don't think that's true, and that's why. But I'm just agreeing with everything he says. Because I'm like, you're so smart and I'm dumb, so you must be right about everything. Just because he uses fancy words doesn't mean he's always right with the fancy talk and book learning.
Okay. I'll hold it here. Go.
I'll brace it with something.
Sorry.
You two okay?
Yeah.
You did that on
Frank
purpose. You wanted to kill me.
Abby, look. A hatch. Manny, just hang tight. We're gonna find a way up to the roof.
Okay.
So.
Oh, when I played this game the first time, I had a glitch.
Right. Reminding me to thank Manny for
Right
the
at this moment, I guess when you go on top of the boat,
I am
like I got a
glad
weird
you
glitch that happened. That never happened anytime I played the first game. So I was thinking, you know, well,
Hey, why have you been avoiding me? I wasn't avoiding you. Come on, you've barely said anything to me since Jackson.
I don't know. I guess I was shook by Jackson, too.
You don't think Joel deserved what he got?
I think he deserved worse. I just wish I didn't take part in it.
I get it. What kind of a person could do that, right?
I'm not saying that.
Let's see if there's a way to the hatch.
All right.
I was like, okay, so we do get a like a little bit of a window into what Abby's. The most interesting part of Abby's journey is that she's also kind of questioning what she did and like what kind of a person would brutally murder a man, even if he is like the worst person ever, Joel. They think he's like this awful person, and he kind of is, by any measure, any objective measure. And so that's kind of a cool conversation they just had where Abby's saying, she thinks other people are looking at her different since she did that. What kind of a person would do that thing, kind of a thing? And I think that's where that's an important thing to notice about her character for whatever kind of arc she's gonna have. That's where we're starting. Abby kills Joel, and she's questioning what kind of a person she is because of it. Am I a murderer? Am I a psychopath? Do I just kill people now for fun? Is that who I am? Are people looking at me different? Does Owen not like me anymore because of it? So that's the first. I remember when I heard that, I was like, okay, this is like a little bit of an interesting character thing we're doing with her. We're gonna, if we're gonna be with her for a long time, it's got to be interesting, right? She's got to change a little bit, or she's got to question herself, and so we're starting to get that a little bit. That's cool. And I don't really remember where we go from there, so we'll be discovering it together. Okay. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.